Sonic 06, the internet's favorite dead horse that no one can seem to stop beating. But can you blame them though? They made it so easy to get away with this shit. I mean, by nearly all accounts, it's not a good game. Its graphics, even for the time, are outdated. The story is convoluted and confusing. The controls are some of the worst in this series, and something about bugs and glitches. But notice how I said nearly, because as rational beings, we have the power of retrospection. And after nearly 17 years, now that this dead horse has been beaten to a bloody pulp, we can look back and see that Sonic 06 actually has some good things going for it. It actually executed some things quite well. So in today's video, I want to take a look at some of those things that Sonic 06 did do well, because to be completely honest, they did get some things right, and the things that they did get right, they got really good. And before we delve in, if you guys end up enjoying the video, make sure to subscribe. It helps me out and it helps the channel out, and it helps this video reach other people. But without further ado, let's get into the first thing, and probably the one that everybody saw coming. When we talked about a Sonic game, one thing that's a certainty is that the soundtrack is gonna be a bop, and Sonic 06 is no exception. Despite all of the corners that were cut in this game, Sega made damn sure not to even dare touch the sound team, and oh my god, I have gone on record and said that I believe that Sonic 06 has to be the best soundtrack in the entire series for multiple reasons. But I'm just shocked that this soundtrack was able to hit on so many different genres of music and was able to perfect each one without skipping on the quality of certain tracks, like rock music, orchestral, slow jazz. And we don't even have to look that far to see the absolute variety. We only have to look at the first level of the game. Now, what this game does, it does something similar to Sonic Adventure, where the level is split into different sections and each section has a different music track playing. We start off at Wave Ocean, and the first section is this nice, calming, tropical vibe to it. It has this guitar with a clean tone in the back, giving it that fast-paced but calming vibe to it. And even in the small details, like the calming chimes in the background and the sounds of waves crashing into the shore, it just adds to that feeling that you're just taking a nice walk on the beach. Then you get to the second section, the Mach Speed section, and that clear guitar tone turns into a rock guitar, the tempo speeds up, and the drums as well, resembling something more akin to breakcore, if you could even believe it. And with Sonic chasing the egg carrier to catch elites, everything about this song tells you that you're on the clock and you need to go, go, go. Just from one stage, you have two completely different songs that give off two completely different vibes with two completely different genres. And the best of all, they both slap. And this goes for nearly every stage in the game. Flame Core starts off with a heavy grunge metal for when you're outside the cave and it's all hell and bells and the fire and it's raining meteors. But then you get into the cave and it dials it back. The tempo of the song is the same, but it feels calmer. It's more chill, it's more mellow. The echoes reverberate off the cave walls, and you can hear that in the song. And it feels like a more jazzy piece, matching up with how things have now calmed down now that you're inside of the cave. And I think the stage that does it the best is Kingdom Valley. You start off the stage and immediately you're hit with this sense of urgency, with each instrumental hitting hard and fast to let you know that this is serious shit and you gotta catch up to Elise before it's too late. Then in the second half, we got Silver in it, and it slows down to match his more precise platforming. While not as fast paced, it still has that sense of urgency because the instruments linger on for much longer, making you have that feeling that you should get back to the action. and then when you hit the Mach speed section, everything hits a crescendo, with the instruments hitting the highest points and even having vocals kick in. And with the imagery of the sea splitting and Sonic running on water, it almost feels kind of angelic. And that's why this music is so good. Not only is it a bop, every stage is a bop, I'll stand by that, but the music matches the tone and the events going on in the stage and the events of the story to make you actually resonate with what's going on. And I know I just spent like half of this video talking about the music, but like I said before, it's a good reason. I feel like Sonic Team wanted to put their everything into 06, and this soundtrack is a remnant of that passion. Up next was the way they handled multiple playable characters, and I already made a video going more in depth into how all of the 3D games handle it, so if you want to learn about that, go check it out right here. But specifically, I think that 06 handles it the best out of all of them. It's sort of like SA1, where you play as one character in their own story, and you get to see the overarching story through those perspectives, but with a twist. Well, yes, most of the stages you get to play as one character. In some stages, there are moments where you swap characters, like in Wave Ocean, where you swap the tails for a moment to open a gate for Sonic, or like in Shadow's Kingdom Valley, where you play as Rouge to find the keys to open the door, or in Silver Story, where you play as Blaze to get to the other part of the level. It's not super long section, but it's a nice break in the level to let you play as another character besides the main one. This system of swapping in the middle of the level allows you to play as different characters while at the same time not taking away focus from the main guy. Unlike in past Sonic games where you had a whole stage or even a whole story where you would only play as one character, and if that character was not fun to play, you had to complete that whole level or story to advance to the next one. And that could bog down the experience. So while the base characters aren't that good in base 06, let alone the side ones, Amy, you bastard! The way that it's handled itself is the best we've seen in the series. Finally, the last thing that they got right, the level design of 06. When it comes to Sonic gameplay, there are two things that come into play when making a fun gameplay experience. Good controls and good level design that complement those controls. Unfortunately, Sonic 06 spectacularly fails in the former, but spectacularly succeeds in the latter. The best way I can describe the level design is that it takes the more open linear level design of Adventure 1, where the levels are super intricate and full of different ways to proceed through the level, and the quality of the linear level design of Adventure 2, and we can see that in levels like Kingdom Valley, where right from the beginning you can either go the intended route, or you can wait for the eagle to come and pick you up, and not literally 2 seconds later, you have this rope that you can bounce on to either wait for the bridge to collapse, or take the high route and completely avoid the bridge collapsing. And from there, you have so many different ways you can go. You can go along the bridge, or you can homing attack to this rainbow ring, and it just keeps going and going. There are so many different ways. The level is so vertical, but at the same time horizontal. It's like this little open area that you can just mess around with. And that's literally just the first section of a 7-minute stage. Then we can look to Desert Ruins, where it's a giant open level, but again, it meshes well with the quality of SA1 and SA2 strengths, having this open level, but then when it has to, it locks in and delivers some amazing linear platforming. And one more example I think is definitely underrated is Crisis City, which definitely leans more into that SA2-isms, but it still has a hint of SA1 openness with just the amount of ways you can proceed through that linear stage. And when you look at the different stories and the different characters besides Sonic, each part of the level or each level individually caters to their playstyle. Silver's level design is way more puzzle platforming, Shadow is way more combat oriented, Tails, it takes advantage of his flight, Knuckles takes advantage of more of his gliding and combat, etc, etc. Sonic 06 feels like a loving marriage between SA1 and SA2's level design philosophies and all of the experience that Sonic Team has had up to this point, and in the end, we have some of the best level design in the series. And ladies and gentlemen, those are all of the things that Sonic 06 got right. I'm gonna sound like a broken record right now, but this game had so much potential to be great. when looking at it with a critical eye and not just in an attempt to say something that's been echoed for the past damn near 2 decades, it's understandable to see why so many people have a fondness for this game and might even want a remake. And Project 06, while I've considered it a completely different game, it proves that this game could have been amazing if, you know, things were different and Sonic Team actually got the chance to make the right decisions and to, you know, make this game not a complete broken mess. And speaking about Project 06, despite all of the changes that it makes, like the graphical changes, the numerous amount of bug fixes, completely overhauling how the controls play, the few things that were never touched or even just barely touched were the level design, the music, and how the multiple playable characters work, because they were good from the start. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Sonic 06 got right. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment down below, what do you think Sonic 06 got right? Do you like Sonic 06? Is it your favorite game? Are you insane? Let me know, because, you know, as time goes on, it's really interesting to see how different people view the game over time. I personally, I've gone for an appreciation for it. Obviously, I didn't like grow up with it crazy. I did play it a bit as a kid because I did have an Xbox, but I never really sat down and fully played it. Not until recently, at least, when I actually got it for Xbox 360. And yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah, it's a fucking Jesus Christ. It's not a good game. Project 06 has definitely blinded me, but yeah, that's basically all I gotta say for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed it, like I said, subscribe, comment, do all that nonsense, and I will see y'all in the next one.